Yes. Okay. Good. Okay. People are popping up. This is fantastic. Do we need face cams and audio on that, Elizabeth? That is very helpful if you can do that. But the truth is that we will end up going to a different document. So I would love to see your faces. Some of you I've never even met before. Jacob, I don't think I've ever met you. Abby, I met for the first time the other night. Chloe, I don't think I've ever met you. So it'd be awesome if I could see your face and then I'd recognize you if I ever ran into you. But you got to give it, you have to make sure that it works. And I'm not sure all the videos work. There's Elizabeth. Who is that in the background? Is that little brother? Hi, little brother. Yeah, your brother. Remember one time I was on one of these Zoom meetings and there was like a whole herd of people in the background. It's like, what is going on at your house? This is like a serious party going on at noon on a Friday. Very odd. I want to be there. All right. Oh, Samantha, awesome. I can see you now. Good. I know it takes a minute. If you haven't done Zoom before, it might take a minute to download the program and get it going. Elizabeth, are you sitting in a car? You look like you're sitting in a car. Okay. That works. Are you using your hotspot on your phone? Love those hotspots. I know. They work everywhere. All right, there's Samantha. Awesome. Nice to meet you. I don't think I've ever met you before. Great to see you. Hey, and I know that lots of you are doing early college stuff, and if you are, now's the time to get enrolled in your next semester's classes. So if you haven't already done that, go see Jeff if you need help figuring that out. I know he's starting to work on that. All right, we're going to give it like just one more minute, and then we're going to move forward. I'm going to do a share screen a minute. But I am not on the right. You can just see my Zoom box, which is not very interesting. How do I get rid of this? I don't want to do that. Close that. There we go. Okay. All right, so we'll go to this document in just a minute, but before we go there, I want to talk about a few things, just some logistical stuff in the class. And is that a dog? Oh, that's the cutest thing ever. I would show you mine, but she's passed out on the couch. She barely moves during the day. She's a Bernese mountain dog, and like, I don't know. They just sleep all day long. And then they get a little rowdy in the morning. All right, let me see if anyone else has shown up here. I don't see anyone else. Okay, I think we're gonna move forward. All right, so can you guys see my screen? Do you see the thing that says Writing 121 virtual session? Yeah, okay. And I appreciate, thanks you guys for turning on your video cameras. That does help me a lot when I can see your faces, and I do appreciate you guys doing that. I know it can be uncomfortable, but once you start doing it, it doesn't matter anymore. As you can see, I'm at home in my sweatshirt, so that's just the way it is on your work from home days. Okay, so class information. Just a quick heads up about Writing 121. You should have turned in your rough draft by now. I think everyone who is here has, so you are right where you need to be. Lots of you have already done your peer editing. I think I have a few people who are still hanging out there waiting for someone else to turn in their essay. And I have had questions about, well, if my partner didn't turn their essay in, will my peer editing points be counted late because I'm waiting on them? No. right? That's not on you. I put zeros in, and I know Aurora emailed me about that. I put zeros in because I need to convey to people that, hey, if you don't turn this in, this is going to hurt your grade. But when you do get it in, it will not be marked late. You will not be behind on those points. So just know that. And then the final draft is due today. I think I was able to get through everyone's. I think Michaela's was the last one that I did this morning, but everyone should have comments at this point. Make sure you look at those. I will grade on whether or not you looked at the feedback, right, and made the appropriate changes. So make sure you look at that feedback. And if you have questions, let me know, right? Email me, send me a text, something like that, so I can answer those questions right away. The final draft is due today, the 20th. And I will try to start grading those either today or over the weekend, or I will get to them next week. Essays always take me a long time, so just know that it might be a little while before I can get back to you on those. Sharing Google Docs. Most of you have this down. I am still getting the occasional shared document that I can't edit on. And if I can't edit, I can't give you feedback, right? I can't give you feedback on your paper. And then when you turn in your final draft, you're just not going to get the same grade because you haven't made those corrections. So on this presentation, if you can see this on the left, it says sharing Google Docs. Make sure you have this little pencil or pen image, and that means editing. And I need editing rights. So even if you stick my name in here, Christina Struyk-Bonn, find my email, it'll pop up, and then make sure you have this little pen or pencil, and then click done, then I know that I can edit your document. Otherwise, I'm going back and forth with you trying to figure out, hey, I need editing rights. So just know there's a few people out there who are still doing this. Okay, now to future things in the class. We will have a field trip November 17th. Okay, put it on your calendar now. It is from 1:30 to 3. If you have a class at that time, let me know, right? We got to figure this out because somehow you got to do the makeup points. It is worth 50 points. It is required. So I do want you to be there. Where is it? We will go to the Mount Hood Community College Library, and they are going to show us how to use their databases. It is not the most exciting field trip on the face of the earth, right? It's not like you get to pet the animals or whatever, but it is a necessary thing. And if you know how to use the library at Mount Hood, it is going to help you so much. A lot of times they give us a tour as well, and you can see the tutoring center. There's a really fantastic tutoring center at Mount Hood Community College. And even if you're a College Now student, so you're not an early college student on Mount Hood Community College campus, you as a student at our school, because you are in this class, can take advantage of the tutoring center. So you can bring your paper there, and they're going to work through your paper and give you feedback and tell you what to fix. You actually, even though you're not taking a math class, you could go get tutored for math because you're a student at Mount Hood. So it's a really incredible opportunity. And think about it, right? Like if you need that help, if you're looking for a tutor and you're having a hard time, figuring out how to do that, take advantage of it. So on the 17th, we will meet at the library right at 1:30. I'll try to get there a little bit early and meet some of you. You can get your Mount Hood Community College School ID card. So those of you who are early college students maybe already have your ID card, but those of you who are still at MIWA and doing College Now classes might not. And you can get it at that time. You just need like your school ID or some other form of ID that proves who you are, and then they'll give you your Mount Hood school ID card. You will need to use the Mount Hood Community College database for your final essay. You must have 5 sources for your final essay, and I expect 3 of them to be from the database at Mount Hood. And I can tell if they are or they are not, or if they're taken from the web. So that is a requirement. And knowing how to access those databases is going to help a lot. So I will see you on November 17th at 1:30, and I get to meet you in person, which is exciting for me because otherwise I don't necessarily do that with some of you. I can see that I have some questions in the chat, so I'm going to stop sharing a minute and see what's going on here. We got a yep from Jacob, good. Yep from Larissa, good. I go there every Thursday with my friend for math, and it helps a lot. Awesome, Chloe. I'm so glad you guys are using that because I think it's a huge benefit. Okay, so next. What do I have here? Sorry. I'm clicking your guys' pictures all over the place. Okay, so now I do need to share this document with you because we're going to start working right on the document itself. So I'm going to put the link, and as you can see, I'm sharing the document. I'm getting the shareable link. I'm making sure that I change this from Can View to Can Edit. And I'm actually going to further change this to anyone with the link can edit, because some of you I know aren't using your school email. You're using a different email. And then I copy it. I click done. I'm going to stop sharing. And then I'm going to post this in the chat. All right. So once it's in the chat, you should be able to click on it and then go to that document. I know some of you are old hands at this, but some of you, this may be a somewhat new experience for you. So go ahead and click on that document, and then I can see you starting to pop up. Oh, I'm getting an email. Hang on just a minute. Looks like someone can't access the class. Where is the mail? Oh, okay, that's for a different class. Never mind. All right, so I'm starting to see you pop up. I see Abigail, I see Jacob, I see Larissa. Chloe's there, Aurora's there, so there are a few people who still need to try to click in there. Elizabeth, I don't know if you're going to have troubles because you're in a car or not. I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. And let me know if you are having troubles. And then I don't think I see you yet, Samantha. Are you on there? And I don't see Samantha yet. So once you are on there, we're going to start working. Oh, someone else just popped up, Anonymous Python. That might be you, Samantha. It might be Elizabeth. I'm not sure. Once you are on there, we're going to end up on slide 3. We're going to talk about some things that I found in your papers that I want to kind of address before we go on to the next paper, which, by the way, starts already next week. I know you wouldn't want to break from paper writing, would you? Can't have that. All right, so I'm seeing most of you there. And I'm still gonna, oh yeah, Samantha, you're there. Awesome. Okay. All right, so if you look at slide 3, a couple of things that I saw popping up in the essays, the first essay, were some really similar grammatical things that we can address, or writing elements that we can address before the next essay. And one of those is something called parallel structure. And parallel structure, I mean, that sounds, I don't know, confusing or vague, but really this is something that you can tackle. And what it is it's words or phrases in a series that should be in the same form, right? And sometimes I don't see them in the same form within your sentence. So if you look at example 1, the sentence is, Marissa stopped at the grocery store, the bank, and ran to the library. Now that sounds like grammatically, well, that sounds okay, but this is actually not grammatically correct because you have not followed parallel structure. And parallel structure, if we did it correctly, each section of the series would follow the same pattern. So we have Marissa stopped at the grocery store. And grocery store is a noun, right? It's a person, place, or thing. You can put an article in front of it, the grocery store. And if you can put an article in front of it, that's your clue that it's a noun. So everything that follows in the series should also be nouns. Okay? The bank is a noun. Again, it's a person, place, or thing. and it has the article the in front of it. That's our clue that this is a noun. But now we have the issue, right? So the last series is and ran to the library. Well, ran is another verb. So now suddenly we aren't following the same pattern. So we need to change it so it is just a noun. So Marissa stopped at the grocery store, the bank, and the library. Okay, so now we have the same series. It's a noun every single time. Grocery store, bank, library, and that's correct. Okay, so it feels like something you may have to relearn or rethink when you're doing these sentences. But I will point them out, especially if they're really glaring changes in the parallel structure. So let's look at example number 2. Every night before bedtime, Ivy reads a book, singing a song, and says a prayer. Now this one feels a lot more obvious, right? So every night before bedtime, Ivy, and here we have a pattern of verb plus noun. So she reads a book, and then it sings a song and says a prayer. Okay, so this is what we're going to work on first, and then we'll have another thing that I want you to work on second. So if you look at slide 4, okay, there are 4 examples here. So I want each of you to do one example. So slides 4 and 5 has examples too. So if slide 4, if all of these are taken, go to slide 5 and do one of those. Go ahead and put your name at the top where it says name. So I see someone, yeah, the anonymous Quagga? I don't even know what that is. Oh, Samantha, okay. So Samantha's gonna do number 1, and then I see Larissa on number 2, awesome. Jacob's doing number 3, fantastic. Now I have Aurora on number 4. So the rest of you will need to go to the next slide, okay, to do 5, 6, and 7. So I see Abigail now on slide 5, awesome. And I don't think I see Elizabeth yet. Who is the M? Oh, Chloe. So Chloe, you may want to do, there we go. Chloe's on number 7, awesome. Okay, so you each have one to do. So go ahead and read it and then correct it, and then we'll review them. Good. So Samantha, you've got a tricky one. Look at the number. This is going to be your clue. So Sally needs a stove, a dishwasher, and a... How would you correct that one? Yes, you got it. Awesome. Okay, I gotta go and look at some of the comments a minute that are happening over here. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Oh, sorry, my hotspot went out. Someone can. Oh, thanks, Jacob, for giving her the link. I appreciate that. When I'm sharing my screen, I can't see the chat, which is the most annoying thing about Zoom because I gotta keep going back and forth. All right, so Larissa's working on number 2. Awesome. All right, students cap their pens, close their notebooks, and zip their book bags. Excellent, Jacob. You've got it. You corrected it perfectly. Very nice. All right. So number 5. Abby is working on number 5. Good. Yes, you got it. Or do the laundry. You found the pattern. And then I've got number 7. Chloe's doing number 7. After a man cashes her paycheck, the money goes to her savings account. And her credit card balance. Excellent. Good. Yes, you guys are figuring these out. Literature classes teach students to analyze text, to think critically, and to have a better writing. You're close. Have. Yes, you got it. Take out the A. Excellent. Good. Okay, so you guys are getting this. And think about that when you're writing. Parallel structure is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And in fact, we've got some very famous works that use parallel structure to be or not to be as parallel structure, believe it or not. There's even the Gettysburg Address. And I can't think of it right now, and I should have written it down, but Gettysburg Address uses all kinds of parallel structure. If you want to look at a really recent one, Obama, his when he was originally inaugurated, he used parallel structure again and again in his inauguration speech, and it is beautiful. So parallel structure is absolutely beautiful when it is done well, but when it's not done well, you can feel it, right? It's clunky, it's not poetic, it doesn't have the right rhythm, and your reader will notice. So we're gonna keep looking at parallel structure. Okay, so now look at slide 7. And I think I again have a comment in the chat, so I'm gonna go back. I didn't mean to have A in mind. Oh no, you're fine. Sorry, my husband's not working from home. Oh, Elizabeth, I know you're gonna have some difficulties there. That's okay. You can always review this later if you need to, or clean things up if you weren't able to do it where you are right now. Okay, using specifics or details in writing. So that's the next thing I really want to look at. And slide 8 is where the example is. So slide 7 doesn't have a lot on it, but it's my transition slide to the next thing we're going to do. So take a look a minute at slide 8. I think I see most of you popping up in there. I still have a few people on slides 4 and 5. Come on down to slide 8, and let's work through this together. So one thing I really noticed in your first essays was sometimes, not always, but sometimes a lack of specifics. And this is something that we need to work through now, right? We need to work through it now in narrative writing. You need to work through it in expository writing. Any kind of writing you do, the best way to get your reader interested is to make the writing specific, to include those details. Because when I see specifics, then I'm immediately pulled in and I'm going to understand what's going on a lot better. When it's vague, then I don't know what you're talking about necessarily. So if you look at the example, I gave a really pretty generic example. It says, the beach was perfect and our family had a wonderful time. Lots of people use this kind of writing in short stories, in narrative writing, in poetry, and it's really generic. Okay, so if you look at the left or the right-hand side of the screen there, this is where we get more specific. We arrived at Seaside around 11 a.m. Saturday morning. High wisps of clouds floated airily in front of the sun and a slight breeze rustled the waves. Okay, so this is my idea of painting a perfect day, right? Suddenly you know what I mean by a perfect day. And it's probably different than what you mean. So suddenly I'm getting into the specifics of what I want you to see. I want you to see this day with sunshine, maybe high clouds, a slight breeze, the waves ruffled, right? And that's going to differ from you. There are some people who love rain, and their perfect day might be a day of rain slanted down on the beach, right? And watching that crazy weather from, the safety of a hotel room. But that wasn't me. So now I'm getting into the specifics. The second part, my 2 brothers tossed their shoes in the sand and ran, chubby legs pumping, into the waves that touched the edge of the sand. They shrieked and splashed, skipped rocks into the water, and dug their hands into the sand. So this is my way of conveying what does it mean to have a wonderful time at the beach, right? It's kids kind of shrieking, running into the waves, digging into the sand. To me, that's what I mean by a wonderful time. That might be really different than what you mean by a wonderful time. Your wonderful time might be tossing a football back and forth, right? Your wonderful time might be just sitting on the sand, feeling the breeze, listening to the seagulls. So if you go back to the first sentence, we don't really know what perfect means, and we don't really know what wonderful means, right? You've stated this sort of generic, vague, I want specifics. And you're going to see this on your essays. I made lots of comments about this. What do you mean by this? What is this? Show me what you mean by this. And think about that when you're doing your final drafts. Did I get specific? Okay, and if not, how can I make this specific? So take a look a minute at slide 9. this is what I want you to do for the second part of our workshop today. I want you to find your essay. I took specific paragraphs from the essays that you turned in and I posted them here. So I want you to find yours. They should be in alphabetical order except for the people who haven't turned their essays in yet. So you should be able to find them pretty easily. Read through the paragraph. Consider ways that you could change the language so it's specific and your readers can picture it, and then change the language on the slide using a different text color. Okay, make sure you use a different text color so I can see, oh, here are the changes. And this is how he or she got more specific. Okay, so that's what I want you to do. And I'll be quiet here because I know me chatting away at you doesn't help when you're trying to think. But find your slide. If you absolutely can't find your slide, then I have something else I need you to do. But I think all of the people here have slides available. So I see, okay, Samantha, you found yours. Jacob, you're on yours. Excellent. Elizabeth has hers. Abigail, you found yours. Excellent. Okay, Larissa found hers. And didn't I have one more? Abigail, Jacob, Larissa, Aurora. And Aurora, you've got yours. You're there. Awesome. Okay. And Chloe, did you find yours? Yours is slide 20, Chloe, if you're looking for it. It is there. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to work through this. Think about vague words, right? And think about, how do I make this more specific? If I use the word, terrible things, that's really vague. What does that mean? Terrible things. That could be very different to different people. All right, I'll stop talking now. I can't edit mine because my Wi-Fi is really bad and keeps cutting out. It says it's offline. Oh, okay. So, Chloe, how can we do this? I could paste yours. I don't know if this will help, but I could paste it into an email. That might not help any if you're having troubles with Wi-Fi. Or you may have to finish it when you have better Wi-Fi. Maybe that's the answer, is I'll send out the link to this document and you may have to finish it when you have better Wi-Fi. Good, Abigail. You are getting much more specific there. I do want you to think about what you mean by psychologically abusive, right? Again, that's going to mean different things to different people. Okay, and Aurora, you're there. And what I had with yours, Aurora, because you had some specifics and some not. Car crash, right? A car crash it can be very, very different things to different people. To some people, it could just be, a fender bender, right? I crashed into another car and I dented their back bumper. What does that mean? This car crash must have been really devastating. So what did it mean to you, right, to find this out? And then two of her friends. The friends was very vague. Who were these people? So think about some of those things. How can you clarify that? Good, Larissa. So now you're being specific. You're going into, it was April. And what does long days mean, right? Is that 8 in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon? Is it, right? Like, how are you spending 10 hours there at the pool? That kind of thing. Yeah, go back into what are the specifics here? What does that mean? All right, who did I miss? I'm missing some people. Good. Yes, Jacob. A lot of yours was pretty specific. I found that when I got further into your essay, you got more and more specific. But it was right at the beginning that it felt pretty vague, you know. But you started talking about a cat, you know, a specific cat and a specific incident, and that was awesome. So it was just really your opening paragraph that I thought you could clean that up a little and make it a bit more specific. You're doing great. So Chloe, I don't know if you're able to make any edits right now because it sounds like you're having some internet issues. And you also, in your piece, you got very specific after, right? So, you know, at the beginning, oh, I don't think you're here anymore. Talking to myself. Good, good, yes. You guys are doing it. If you haven't already turned in your final draft, well, even if you have turned in your final draft, consider whether or not you should go back and make some changes. So these paragraphs are more clear. Oh, Elizabeth, you're on. Okay. And you were very specific in yours too. What I wanted to know was I spent a week volunteering at the Best Friends Animal Sanctuary. So I don't know how you got there. I mean, this was Utah, right? Like, do you know someone who lives in Utah? Or to me, it was like, what does that mean, a week volunteering? Were you doing 8 hour days? Were you doing 10 hour days? You know, so to me, that's where I wanted more information. What does that mean to volunteer for a week? What is the commitment you had to give there? Good, Abigail. Yes, you are getting was abusive mentally and emotionally. I would still like to know what does Caitlin say that's abusive, right? How does that come across? And then Savannah was also struggling. What does that mean that she was struggling? Was she struggling with making friends? Was she struggling with how to interact with people? With not, you know, like that? Still, someone struggling can mean very different things to different people. So what does that look like? Oh, good. Okay, Chloe, it looks like you're back and you can type on here. Yeah, I would like to know. I never had the skills to start and keep up conversations because I was too shut off to learn them. What does that mean? Right? Like when you met a new person, would you just not say anything? You know, like what does that look like? Or and how were you shut off? Just um, I don't know, caught up in nerves so that it was very hard to relate to people, right? Like I want to picture this. I want to know what you're going through there. Good. Butterflies flying all over. Nice, Larissa. You know what would be good here is to put in what did they ask you in the interview, right? What was a question they asked you and you were like, oh, how am I going to answer that? We want to know this stuff. Yeah, Samantha, you are really getting into more specifics here. I almost want to know though, like it says here, degrading their friends with words. Like what? What were they saying? What did they say to people? You know, what does that look like? Good. Having allergies, good. Not even in childhood. Jacob, I found your essay so fascinating because usually I get the opposite essays, how much people love animals and would have lots of them in their lives, and yours was just a really different take on that, right? Like there's a point where you can have too much. And I appreciated that. Oh, good. Okay, yeah, you're getting into the specifics now. And then how did you find, sorry, Elizabeth, how did you find this place to volunteer? And did you live there or with someone? All right. Yeah, Aurora, I don't know if you're having troubles typing on there or I gotta go back and look at the chat. Sorry. I can't end mine because my wife is okay. Oh, no problem, Chloe. Do what you can. I understand. I appreciate you trying. Yeah, so Aurora with yours, anyway, they crashed when that didn't have any headlights on. Ooh, see, that's better. Remember to highlight what you changed. So, or highlight it or put it into a different color. I know you changed that because I remember, but yeah, highlight the ones that you changed. No, right. Yours was really hard to read, Aurora. That was a really tough moment. Yeah, good, Larissa. Yeah, a specific question. That's perfect. That's going to help us know. Whoa, you had to answer that. Excellent, Samantha. Yes. Now you're getting into the heart of this. Good. And Jacob, yours looks good. Oops, I gotta chat again. It's off again. Oh, sorry, Chloe. You are having some issues there. I just got the same message, actually. I just got the message. Your internet is unstable. Good. So Jacob, I like where you're going with this. Just remember that many negative events is still vague. Now, I've read the rest of your essay, and I know that you go into the specifics of that, right? You go into the specifics of the negative events. So it's there. But if you had left it like that, I would again say, well, what does that mean, right? I just happen to have read the essay, so I know where you go. So you're going to be fine there. But remember, negative events, that's still really vague. There we go. Good, Elizabeth. Now I know why you ended up there. Excellent. Good. Loving volunteers. Think about what that means. What does that mean? Loving volunteers. Can that be more specific? Gentle, people who were willing to pick up these little mangled creatures and didn't care, right? What does it mean? So Abigail, I see the note you made there. I made an entire paragraph about this, talking about the specifics on how she helped, and you do. But I even put on the rest of your paper. I want to know more of the specifics. What did she say to you that was helpful? Right? What does it mean for someone to help you? You're adding more right now. Awesome. Okay, I'll be quiet then. Yeah, Aurora. I did wonder a little bit about 2 months ago, my brother lent one of his cars, right? Like I thought, wow, how many cars does he have? I'm not sure that that's really part of what you're trying to convey, but I did have that question when I was reading it. Oh, yeah, Chloe, that's perfect. Now you're getting into the specifics of the qualms you had about talking to people, like second guessing yourself. Excellent. We can relate to that, right? And good, Larissa. I love it that you're adding those specific questions. Nice, Larissa. Really good specifics. You totally changed that paragraph. That's awesome. And what I'm seeing too right now is really incredible editing going on. And I know sometimes we don't know how to edit, right? Like we read through our paper again and again, and we go, well, I think I have all the grammar right. I've spelled all the words correctly. I've punctuated. But this is editing, right? This is when you go in and you say, you know what? I didn't convey this in the best possible way I could. I'm going to change my language. I'm going to change my word choice. I'm going to change the details. That's when you get into the heart of editing. And that's when you really become an accomplished editor. And I'm looking at your pieces, like I looked at, Samantha's. I'm looking at Jacob's right now. I mean, there is some serious editing going on, and this is good stuff. Go ahead and look at some of the others if you're done so you can see what changes were made. Oh, nice, Abigail. Okay. Yeah. I do, get into those specifics. I know sometimes that's hard because you guys wrote on hard topics. So you're digging up those hurtful things in the past, but I tell you what, those specifics are what help us really understand what you went through. And Chloe, yours really changed as well. So take a look at one of the others, right? Kind of read through, see how they change things. Once you're done, make sure that you turn in the note that says you were here. I can tell who's here, obviously, because you were on this document and I can see the changes that you made, but still turn it in. And then don't forget to put on your calendar that we have a field trip November 17 from 1:30 to 3. And you will have a reminder in your class, but just make sure you're planning ahead so that you can make room for that. And then you are good to go. I will say, if you really changed your paragraph, copy that and put it into your essay, right? Put it into that final draft. Because if you feel good about this, you made some specific changes, use them, right? Don't turn in what you had before. Use this. You just cleaned up your paper. And when you're done, you are set to go. You bet. Have a good, I don't know where you are, but have a good trip, Elizabeth. See you later. Bye, Abby. See you on Tuesday. Bye, Jacob. Should I just say that I was here? Yeah. You mean when you turn in the assignment? Yeah. You can just say I attended or I was there. I was present. Whatever. I know you were. I can see who's here and who wasn't. And I can see the changes made to the document as well. So, yeah, that's all you need to do. See ya. Thanks for coming. All right.